Good morning, everybody. This is Attorney Mark Stevens from Salem, New Hampshire. This is Lawyer Up Radio here at WCCM. If you want to call in today, our toll-free number is 1-877-687-8005. If it's a local call, it's 978-687-8005.
Did you see the other attorney? Did you see your friend Jason?
I saw Jason leaving, yeah.
In the parking lot, huh?
I saw him in the parking lot, and I got to say, it looked like he was driving pretty quick. I know that he listens to this channel all the time, so he's probably listening right now.
You got it.
And I just want to admonish him to obey the rules of the road as he travels back to Salem. I know I was driving at a safe and reasonable and prudent speed, as I know you always do, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
And that's a good thing to think about as the summer is coming. The warm months are coming, and police activity is usually stepped up around this time. And I want to talk this morning a little bit about how to avoid some unnecessary, unwanted police contacts to the extent that you can. And one thing that you can take, it's an easy precaution to take, and one thing the police are on the lookout for, is if your license plates, your registration is expired, or your car is uninspected, or your license has expired, you're going to get stopped. So an easy step that you can take is double and triple check those things to make sure that they're good, that your stickers are on, and that your license plate and license itself is up to date. You don't want to give them a cheap shot at stopping you, and then they get frisky and look around in your car and find some stuff that you might not want them to find. Not saying that anybody listening has anything like that in their car, but if you do, you don't want them to find it. And the police use the motor vehicle laws as a reason to stop people. A common one now is if any of your lights are out, so you want to check your lights, Bruce, you want to check your plate lights, you want to check your headlights, brake lights, and everything like that. Because if one of them is out during the summertime, you're going to get stopped.
The inspection stickers, too.
The inspection stickers, too. That's a really common way that people get stopped. And it's something that's easy to forget about. If your car's working, you don't always think about it. But the police are thinking about it. And if you drive by them at between midnight and 2 a.m., which is when they like to stop cars looking for DWIs, OUIs, and drug offenses, because time and experience tells them that's when they're going to catch most people for those types of crimes. You want to make sure you don't give them an easy pass to stopping you. The obvious things are don't speed, don't cross over any lines, and make sure and use your directionals. Be extra careful about those types of things, the obvious driving things, but it's the ones that you don't realize that can come back and bite you. You should have somebody help you out and make sure that your brake lights work, make sure that the plate light, that's the thing that lights up your license plate, is working. If you have two of them, make sure they're both working. And this is not because the cops have taken a sudden keen interest in license plates and light bulbs. It's because it's a violation of the motor vehicle code if the thing doesn't work, and that gives them a chance to pull you over. And sometimes it goes downhill from there, Bruce.
I can imagine. My goodness me. You know what surprises me in the state of New Hampshire, and I think we've talked about this before, is the insurance on your car. I guess you don't have to have insurance in New Hampshire. Is that right?
No, you don't. You don't.
Many people doing that?
Well, I know I do. It's a good thing to have, but it's not. No, it's not a compulsory insurance state.
I see.
So that's that's something to be aware of if you get in an accident up in New Hampshire to try and ascertain whether the other driver has insurance. It's not a given that they do. They haven't imposed mandatory insurance on us.
You have to keep on talking while I go to the phone, but you can go to the phone right now. I call it for you here. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
All right, I hear you better.
We can hear you just fine. What's on your mind?
Yeah, now my question is, I was going to ask this on the other show, but I had already called up. We seem to have a problem in Methuen with a couple of custodians.
With that, did you say custodians?
Yeah, I guess they've been in trouble before and they're in trouble again. And the problem I have here is when I worked for a school system, I had to have a query check done every 3 years.
Oh, yeah, sure. They still do.
Well, if these custodians have been in trouble before, and one of them, I understand, had to do with drugs,
oh boy,
how could they still be working in that school system? Now, if they got in trouble at that school, wouldn't that school be liable by keeping these custodians on?
Well, it depends on what when you say they got in trouble before, I don't know what it is that they got in trouble for or what the end result of it was. You know, sometimes a query check will reveal that somebody got arrested for something but they weren't convicted. Sometimes it will show a conviction. It might have a continuance without a finding on it. Without looking at these guys' query, it would be hard to tell what exactly the outcome of that was. You know, if somebody was arrested for something but found not guilty, then they shouldn't be punished for that, obviously.
Correct.
But, you know, if the guys have a series of committing crimes that they're currently charged with, that would be, it would look like someone might be asleep at the switch.
Well, going along with the same line of questions that I'm asking, how do these people, when they do get found guilty, and it happens all the time, politicians have been in jail and everything else, and they still are able to maintain their pensions?
Well, that's a good question. It depends on the pension scheme that they have, what their plan is, and if it's a conviction is a disqualifying event, then they wouldn't be, and if it's not, then they would. It depends on what the crime is, whether it had anything to do with their employment or not. You know, but a lot of times if a person is in a pension plan and their employment is disrupted, it would affect the pension because it would affect the number of years that they're putting into it.
Well, I'm not talking about crimes outside of the work area. I'm talking about these are people that are public employees that committed the crimes while they were working for the public.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's not all that uncommon, is it?
I know that, but they're still able to maintain their pensions, and I don't understand that.
You know what? I agree with you. I don't understand either why they would be able to do that, because a pension is a benefit of the employment, and if the employment ends in some sort of disgrace,
and they broke the public's trust,
right,
by committing crimes while they were working for us.
Sure.
And then they still collect their pensions.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. I agree with you 100% about that.
But it's done all the time.
Now, how do you know they're actually collecting on the pensions?
Because it comes out in the papers.
Oh, okay.
They are eligible to still receive their pension.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right, because I think you know, the intent of the pension is that it's sort of a reward and a recognition of service, in that case to the public, and if the service was committing crimes, you know, I don't think that they ought to get it.
It seems as though, you know, the more crime you commit, the more you get rewarded.
Well, I don't know about that. But
well, it seems that way to me.
It can sometimes, sure.
All right, I just wanted to touch bases on that one, because I'm a little confused as why some of these people still have their jobs.
Yeah, I agree with you, and thanks for calling in and sharing your thoughts.
You're welcome. Thank you.
978-687-8005, toll free 877-687-8005. Give a call to the attorney. He'll be here until about 9:30. All right, next on your page over there.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're back on the topic of things you can do to avoid unnecessary or an unnecessary extension of a contact with the police this summer. Is we touched on making sure all of your documents are up to date, license plate, registration, and inspection sticker. Another thing that you should bear in mind is that you should be able to produce your license and your registration quickly. You should have it in a place where you can easily produce it, kind of like a quick draw in the Old West. You don't want to be rummaging around for your license, because the police are taught that that's an indicator of drunkenness. So have that license and registration real easy to find on top of everything, not in a pile in your glove box, and not near any contraband that they might see while you're producing it.
Back to the phone for you.
Okay, we have another caller. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
Mark, yeah, I'm a former custodian in Methuen,
Okay.
and we've had problems before. You see, we have an association that we had. Association,
Okay.
which means we don't pay dues.
I see.
Now I see we're paying dues, right?
Okay.
One way or the other. This is unfortunate, but I mean, it happens. It happens in all industries.
Sure it
Banks.
does.
Okay, I mean, we have to accept this fact, you know. I'd like to ask you one more thing. Irrevocable trust. Can you please tell me what that is, process is?
An irrevocable trust is something that's outside of my pay grade. I do all criminal defense work,
Okay.
if you call me after the show, I can put you in touch with somebody who does trust work.
Sure.
I focus entirely on criminal defense, mostly DWI defense. And
Okay, can I please have your number?
sure. My number is 603-893-0074, or call me on my cell phone anytime at 603-785-6458.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for
Appreciate
calling.
it, yep.
Bye-bye. Okay, so back to what I was saying, Bruce, about your license and registration. Make sure those things are in an easy-to-find and easy-to-produce location. I give registration holders out. They're free if you need one. It's a place to tuck the registration and your license in, so you've got them both ready when the cops come to your window. Best to have those two things right in your hand so that the cops can't say that you were fumbling for your license or you couldn't find it. And it sounds like an easy thing to do, and it is in most cases to produce your license or registration. But if you're nervous in the middle of the night and the police officer's barking some things at you, asking you if you've been drinking, where you're coming from, and for your license and registration, it's a little bit different scenario than it is if you just had to pull the thing out to cash a check or something. So make sure you know where those items are.